Is Paddy Pimblett next in line for the lightweight title? Is Justin Gaethje retiring? Are Arman Tsarukyan's Twitter posts helping him for his title shot? In this video, hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Assalamu alaikum.
The golden question at the moment. There are 3 guys next in line for the lightweight belt, or they are claiming their shot for the lightweight belt. Ilia Topuria is obviously the lightweight champion, right? And there's Paddy Pimblett, who has no real case in terms of meritocracy or deservingness or anything, but he has another case, Justin Gaethje, who in my opinion also does not really deserve it, but he has a stronger case than Paddy in terms of deservingness. And there's Arman Tsarukyan, who by far has the strongest case and by a straight meritocracy should 100% be next, right? So let's talk about it. There's one special little key player, which is the winner of Poirier against Holloway.
Max Hiker Holloway here.
Poirier is retiring if he wins, but you never know. He always says, hey, if I win that fight, whatever, why should I stick around? Because I will not get an immediate title shot, and if I don't get a title shot, why still fight? But he always says it's a let's fight in him, so who knows? I will not be surprised if the UFC somehow says, you know what, Poirier, knocked out Holloway in spectacular fashion, you're next, or something like that, because the lightweight division right now is pretty open, right? Holloway, if he beats Poirier, I don't think he has the title shot because he already got knocked out against Topuria. If he finished Poirier violently, you could maybe argue, hey, different division, different max, whatever. Maybe there's something there, but there's 3 key players, which are Paddy Pimblett, and let's break it down. Paddy Pimblett.
Paddy Pimblett.
I honestly think that Paddy Pimblett will be the one getting the next title shot. Why? First of all, Paddy is completely undeserving of it. He did nothing for that. All the guys he beat in his last fights were all on losing streaks already. He beats old washed up guys like Chandler, like Bobby Green, like Tony Ferguson. Like, he's not beating anyone that deserves him, that makes him deserve a title shot, right? Don't come at me with Charles also beat Chandler for, yeah, Charles was already scheduled to face Islam, then had to pull out because of a cut, then took a fight against Arman Tsarukyan, lost that fight in a very close decision, then to kind of bridge the time, took another fight against Chandler and won the rematch that he lost won the rematch that he already won in the first time. I still didn't believe he deserved a title shot. I still thought that Arman was the one that deserves a title shot, but that's to the side, right? Paddy did nothing to deserve the title shot in terms of who he fought and anything. He's definitely one fight away because of his popularity, but I do think that he needs to fight one more fight before he gets a title shot, before he should deserve a title shot. But as I said, I do believe he's the one that's gonna get it. Why? Because the UFC is lacking big fights at the moment. The UFC is lacking those intense rivalries that have a story, that are not fabricated, you know? Of course, there's guys that trash talk a little bit to sell a fight, but it's not the same. They really hate each other. They go way back.
I don't understand you or anything. Back in the flouty mouthy, clouty, like what?
Unsanitizer, boy!
You.
That whole feud goes way back and has been popular ever since. And now it's really up to 100, right? Because Paddy is right there. And they already had the face-off in the cage. Dana said, and don't be fooled by that, Dana said he did not like that they let Paddy in. But if you listen to his whole statement, he said he did not like it because Ilia Topuria's family was in there, his wife and kids, and Dana was never a fan of having face-offs when the whole family is there, especially if the opponent is an enemy or, yeah, just they don't like each other, right? Dana never liked that. That's the reason why Dana said that. Joe Rogan did not, don't forget, Ilia Topuria was talking about Arman Tsarukyan and Joe Rogan was like, oh, you're talking about Paddy Pimblett, and the camera immediately cut to Paddy. Joe Rogan got a voice in his ear by the producer saying, hey, we will cut to Paddy, talk about Paddy. That's why Joe Rogan mentioned Paddy. Ilia never talked about Paddy. Ilia talked about the guy with the back problems, which is Arman Tsarukyan. So the production doesn't tell Joe Rogan that they're gonna cut to Paddy without a reason. They didn't just randomly do that. That was planned. So I do believe that they just need that big fight at the moment. They need to sell pay-per-views, tickets, whatever, especially with the TV deal coming up. They need those big fights, or the TV deal is up there in active negotiation with Netflix and ESPN and all those other channels. And that fight is a fight that's gonna sell a lot. No matter where it happens, it's gonna sell a lot. And Ilia wants that fight, Paddy wants that fight. That's why I think they are gonna do it, because at the end of the day, they are a business. You know what I mean?
Money changes everything.
Gaethje is the last one to deserve a title out of those three, or no, sorry, Paddy's the last one to deserve it, but Gaethje is the last one to get a title out of those three. Because look, I already made a video about that. Gaethje, like in his last fight, he got knocked out brutally by Holloway, then came back and fought Fiziev, who was like number 11 ranked, who was out for a year because of a severe knee injury. Fiziev took the fight on short notice, came in, and Gaethje had a decision that he, in my opinion, clearly won. But it was a tough, close fight. It was not a dominating victory. Gaethje got dropped and all of that, or hurt and wobbled. You know what I mean? So he does not deserve a title shot. He already had several chances and always lost it. Like, how many more shots do you want? You know what I mean? And of course, you can make the same case with Poirier, but as I said, I don't think Poirier will ever fight for the title again. That was just something that I threw in there. So I think Gaethje, if he wins one more fight, hey, of course. If you fight Paddy, for example, which I think straight meritocracy, Arman fights Ilia, Paddy fights Gaethje, winner of Paddy Gaethje gets the next title shot. That's how it should be. That's what makes sense, right? Because as I said, Gaethje, one more win could make a claim for another title shot. But at the moment, he just has no claim. And he said title shot or retirement, which means happy retirement, Justin Gaethje. The last one is Arman Tsarukyan, who has the biggest case. I mean, he was literally scheduled to fight Islam for the title. Of course, there was the whole back issue. Dana now came out and said, wait. But I do think Dana misspoke there in terms of, yeah, he did not make weight. He never showed up to the scales because of his back. That's the reason why he did not even go to the scales. It's not like he made weight and then pulled out. He pulled out the night of the weigh-ins. That's why he probably said he did not make weight, right? Because of his back. That's what Dana meant with that. And he was the backup now as well. The backup fighter normally is the one that's next in line. So we already had a title shot that he could not fight because he was injured. At the end of the day, that's what it was. He was injured. Whether you want to believe him or not, that's the official claim. He was injured. And now he weighed in as the backup, made weight and all of that, so he should be next in line. He's also the biggest stylistic threat to Ilia. I do not think Paddy or Gaethje, of course, everyone has a puncher's chance, but I do not think they're a big threat to Ilia. I do think that Arman is the biggest threat in the lightweight division right now for Ilia Topuria, so he should be next. But I do believe that the UFC still isn't happy with Arman. They still believe that he needs to take one more fight, and I do believe that they will offer him Justin Gaethje, or maybe Holloway if he beats Poirier, one of those guys. And if he wins that fight, then he will get a title shot, but I don't think that they will give it to him next, even though he should be next. And he does a very smart tactic by calling Ilia Topuria a lot of things on Twitter, talking a lot of shit to him. That's exactly what he should do, because he needs an argument for the UFC to say, hey, we can sell that fight. That's the reason why Paddy probably gets the fight, in my opinion, because he's the most, like, he sells the fight the most. Those two having their feud, their beef, that sells. And if Arman can somehow fabricate a beef with Ilia, and that sells, you have the meritocracy argument plus a selling argument, which means it makes sense, right? But I do think as of right now that Ilia will probably fight Madison Square Garden or something like that against Paddy Pimblett. That's very, very likely to happen. And this is my prediction for what happens next. Write your prediction in the comments, you guys. What do you think? Who will fight who? Write in the comments. Did I miss someone maybe that is some kind of player? I don't know, Gamrot or whatever. Write in the comments. Like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Would appreciate that. Check out all the links in the bio, the Twitch streams, all of that. Stay bloody, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.